Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls, I'm your host, and I have a super good friend of mine that's on today. His name, I can't roll my R's enough to say it properly, so I'm just going to say Endri. Endri Laska is on. He's a friend of mine, lives out in Las Vegas. I actually knew Endri before I ever lived in Las Vegas, so I'm very excited to have him on. Let me go ahead and bring Endri on. Endri, welcome to the show, my brother. How you doing, man?
Ken, good, man. How are you today?
Dude, I am awesome. I'm awesome. So, you might be the best looking dude in Las Vegas.
I don't know. My wife thinks so.
Yeah, I know, right? And I've met your wife, your family. You have a beautiful wife, beautiful
Let me
children.
just start off by just wishing your wife, Jill, a happy 35th birthday. Okay?
Yes, yes.
It's her birthday today, and happy birthday, Jill.
She'll appreciate that, man. That's so nice. Jill loved you guys. She, you guys came over to the house. It was awesome hanging out with you. So, you may want to move a little bit to your. There you go. There, perfect, right there. You were off camera a little bit.
Does this enhance my looks? Any
Dude, so let's talk about, this show. I created this show to help people get unstuck. I think people get into a rut. They get into a place where they don't know how to get out of not being able to pay their bills, not being able to figure out how to make it, or they get depressed, or they get whatever. Jill's on right now. She just said, "Hey,
Hi,
Endri."
Jill. Happy birthday.
That's awesome,
Does it
dude.
feel to be 35?
Yeah, I know, right? So, this is about helping people, man. And that's kind of what I lived my life for, is to help people. And I got to know you super well. Even got to ride in your pickup truck once. But man, like, let's, Jill said thank you, by the way. So let's start with where you were born and raised, man.
So, I was born in Albania, in a city called Korcha. Okay. Back in 1983. So, I was born over there. Lived there for 13 years of my childhood life, and my parents, actually, my great grandpa, he was a United States citizen. So we won citizenship through him. Okay, and that's how we filed to be able to come to United States. So my parents decided to make that move, which it's a huge move. Being a parent myself these days, it's a big move, to just up and leave where you're comfortable with and have kids to fend for, and then just make a huge move and move out here in Las Vegas, So
Wow, so you were 13?
I was 13 when we moved out here. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a major culture shock, to say the least.
Did you speak perfect English?
Definitely not.
No?
No. But it's funny. When you first move out here, right? And when we moved out here, there was about 5 Albanian families, so there wasn't a lot of people to where you can just go to and talk, your native language, and so I was forced, especially when we went to school. There was no one there that could translate, So
Wow.
about 6 months into it, I started communicating with people. At first, it was just hand signs, and then just kind of picking up a word here and there, and then just when you're completely, and you have no other ways out, of talking with someone, you'll pick up really quick, So
Yeah.
that's
And
That's
most people, Dude, you're going back and forth in your chair.
Okay, yeah,
You're going off camera, back on camera. But so I mean, here's the thing, though, man. This is one of the things that impresses me about you, and you already know this. Like you came over here at 13 years old. Being 13 is tough enough, right? And that like just trying to figure out how to socialize with other kids without getting into fights and everything else, and then just pick you up and plop you on the other side of the world, and not even knowing the language that well at all, and you had to figure it out, man. You had to figure it out.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's just part of what we do as humans. I mean, even you, if someone picked you up and put you in Albania, you'll learn the language. You know, you have no choice but to.
Right. Right.
But yeah, so it's funny how that works, though. So.
Yeah. So with the so.
By the way, we don't just kidnap women because we kind of tend to have that rep from that movie Taken. Oh, you're from Albania. You just kidnap women and So.
I haven't even seen that movie, dude. So I don't have a reference point. Huh?
I get that a lot from people. They're like, "Oh yeah, you guys go and
really?"
kidnap." So yeah. I don't know if you've seen. I mean, you say you haven't seen that movie, but yeah,
I haven't.
Yeah.
So it was an Albanian that kidnapped a woman or something?
No, we just get a bad rap from that movie. That's all. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I know Albania," and that's the only movie that came out. But yeah, anyways.
Wow. So you've never kidnapped a woman? Let's just get that.
No.
Cleared up. No. Okay, good. I didn't think so. You don't look suspect for that. So, let me ask you. So you ended up over here. What is that? Like 8th or 9th grade, maybe?
13? Yeah, I was in middle school.
Okay.
And middle school, and just it was tough for me to just adjust to the system over here.
Yeah.
Not knowing the language. And everything else, all the kids, it was a little tough in the beginning,
Was it?
Yeah, so just to kind of adapt over here. But other than that, I love it. I love it here, man. It's just, this place provides so many opportunities to do whatever it is that you like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so you were here. You were in your early teens, and it had to be a huge culture shock, like huge difference, I'm sure.
Right.
So were the kids nice or not?
No, that was the part of it, just fitting in. There was a few people that were nice to me, mainly the girls. Okay, but
imagine that.
Right, and then just learning the whole ordeal, sarcasm here, and just how everyone talks, and it was just a completely a different world, because you got to remember when we left back in '96, right? My country just it was communism, So that year, and we finally we could leave from there, right? And just being so closed from everyone else and from the world, it was just a major. And coming over here, it was just crazy,
Yeah.
But it was good. I loved every minute of it, and the people that helped us out over here as well. Just to take that responsibility and help us out over here. It's
right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I know you pretty well, and I know you've accomplished a lot, man. And we're gonna dig into that a little bit, but so you went to school in Vegas. Did you go to college?
No. I mean, I tried. First of all, I barely graduated high school. I was in my senior year. I had about, I think 12 credits. I think you're supposed to have about 24 or 22 or something like that. So went to high school. There's no way I thought I could have, that I was going to graduate. Then got a job. Okay. got a job, and then I was like, you know what? I think to be able to move up from this job, I think I need to graduate high school. So I went to night school, and luckily I met some really cool people. My counselor over there, she really liked me. She's like, listen, we need to get you going, So she helped me out a lot. I was able to graduate at 20, just before 21, and I was doing that and the school. So I was working and school, and I was able to do that and moved on from there, and then took a couple classes in college, but it just really wasn't my thing. And
Yeah.
in a society where everyone just kind of pushes school to you, I was kind of very, I don't know. It was, for me, I was self-conscious of it because I was like, man, everyone is going out there and going to school and doing good things. And I thought that if you don't go to school, you don't succeed at anything.
Right.
That's the information that was pushed down to me just from my parents and everyone else,
Yeah.
And yeah, till this day, I kind of now, I have a little bit of clarity on that,
Mm-hmm. So you didn't you didn't go on with college. What did you
No.
do? I mean, so that you were what, about 21, 20, 21, and you decided college wasn't for you. What was next for you?
So I was just working, okay, so just being from another place too, especially for my country, there's my parents out here, they're very, their work ethic is really, really hard, So they came out here and because there was no work back where I was from, they were very motivated to work. So when they came out here, they had a job. They thought that was it, you know what I mean? And I had those same beliefs. So I came out here and I'm like, okay, so now I have a job, and now I'm working. I'm like, there's got to be something more to this, I can't just be, the 9 to 5 ordeal. Just go to work, clock in, clock out, and then no responsibilities from there.
Right.
And I did that for quite some time, and from the age of 18, I started working. I was selling tickets at this hotel called the Stratosphere,
Yeah.
And so I was doing that. I did that for about 5 years, and then started with Clark County School District as a bus driver, okay? That right there. So
I can't see you as a long-term bus driver. I don't
Right.
know why.
So, but I feel like that job right there, it was the greatest thing that happened to me. And the
Really?
reason why is because I'm driving around, and I had all this free time in my hands, and I'm like, man, I got to do something. Like, what do I do? Like,
Right.
I can't just be doing this all my life,
Right.
So I was constantly thinking on what to do.
Right.
And then I ended up opening up a restaurant.
Oh, this is a great story. We got to tell this story.
So, I worked hard throughout this whole years, right? And I was able to just save money, put it aside, and then this opportunity came up. So I opened up a restaurant. It was like a small pizza joint,
Yeah.
It was a Mediterranean, Greek and Italian food, right?
Right.
Which I knew nothing about, So, like I seriously knew nothing about running a restaurant or how to even cook, Only thing I can do is scrambled eggs.
Right. Right.
So I got into this with my father-in-law, and we started the whole ordeal. We were making money while we were running the business, and then I'm like a couple of years into it, which we opened, by the way, in the worst time ever, 2011 or so.
Yeah.
Everything around us was just going out of business, and here we are just opening up.
Wow.
Quickly figured out the game though, and just really thrived on it. We were making money. We were able to keep the place open 24 hours, and then after that, I just kind of seen that there's not much that I can get from there neither, and we turned around and sold the restaurant.
But
And I'm like,
but hold on. There's something that I know about this whole venture that I want you to talk about, man. Because
Okay.
here's the thing. I think people think somebody, like Endri, look at him. He's this strikingly handsome dude that obviously worked out at one point in your life.
I do that every day. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't do that. It's a lifestyle now.
I know.
I'm addicted to it.
So you experienced a pretty big hiccup in that restaurant business, didn't you?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, so, so the first day we open up,
this is such a funny story.
we get first day we open up, we get a inspector coming out there and here I am, we're excited, we're opening up, we're like, customers are coming in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. So here comes an inspector, from the water reclamation district, and they're like, hey, we just need to inspect your or they're looking for a grease trap. If you're not familiar with that, it's a grease trap. It just traps grease,
Yeah.
and it's underground, so the pipes and don't get clogged, because I don't know if anybody else knows, but when grease, they get when grease travels down the pipes, it gets super hard. So therefore, they have a grease trap, so they can trap it, and then you call a company, they pull out that grease, which by the way smells disgusting,
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, go ahead. It's outside somewhere. I don't know where it's at. We just opened up today. And he comes around, he takes a look, and he's like, hey, listen, I don't think that there's a grease trap here. I took a look all the way around, and we didn't find anything. So I'm like, well, that's funny. This was rented as a restaurant before this this space. So that's weird. How can it not have a grease trap? So he's like, well, you don't have one. You have about and he gave us a time. I don't know if it was 60 days or 30 days to be able to put something in there. And I'm like, where am I going to find a grease trap? Those things are underground, So I called the property management that leased us out the space, and I'm like, hey, there's no grease trap here. She's like, yeah, there is no grease trap. And I'm like, how did you lease this space? You knew exactly what, why I wanted it for.
Yeah.
So anyways, long story short, I was running around and I finally came up with a solution. I found a above ground grease trap, installed it. The guy came in, passed us, give us, and then from here on it was history. It was just.
What didn't you tell me it was like a super expensive thing that you were originally going to have to, and you found a way to do it a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah, the property manager, she's like, yeah, let me just recommend you to a few guys. So I get, I have them out there to give us a bid, and he's like, yeah, 12,000. I'm like, dude, I just got done investing, 30,000 into this building to open up, and before I open up, and you guys come out here, and hit me with the $12,000, yeah. And I put all of my money that I had saved, into that. And now I'm just waiting to get it back the first day, we open up.
Oh,
and then,
man.
So, it turned out to be from 12,000, the total investment to be able to put something like that was, 1,200. So.
Nice.
Yeah,
so you found a solution. And that's what entrepreneurs do. Is we get hit with something like that, and then we're like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to do this for not that much money, right?
Yeah, I quickly learned about grease traps after that, $1,000 bill. So now, I was a pro at it.
Right. So you ended up how long did you do that? A couple years, you said?
So a couple of years, and I was so driven because I wanted to see how much I could make out of this thing, and I was just doing as much as I could, and it's the toughest business out there. It put a lot of strain between my wife and I. It required to be there, sometimes I was, no exaggeration, I was there 24 hours, and having to deal with people, that was the toughest part about it because, now you're relying on, employees, and some of the employees, they were just there for a paycheck, and they don't care about, making a difference,
right,
or being good at what they do. So,
or grease traps or anything.
Right.
They don't care.
So it was for me, it was the hardest part is just dealing with employees, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
so you ended up selling that, getting out of it, and
right. So we sold it the first time, and I'm like, yes, I'm done. It's
that's
gone.
right.
Yeah.
I
and,
forgot.
and you know, a couple months into it, the guy just stopped making payments, and it, it was a sublease, so it came back to us, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm ready to get done with this, you know.
Yeah,
But the first couple of years, just so before, I was just over there, like I was saying, nonstop. I wanted to see what I could make, and then I would, I see the daily revenue, and I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, boom, boom, boom. We were making a lot of money, and then, you pay everybody else, and then from this, you're left with this, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But so then the second guy comes along, and he buys it again, and this guy lasted probably about 5 to 6 months, right? And
Wow.
then something happened to him, and he couldn't make his payments. And because everyone thinks though that just because you're running a business, they automatically think that you know what you can just lay back right now, kick your legs up, and have the money come in, which is completely the opposite. You gotta be the guy that's gonna that controls everything.
Yep.
So that was a huge eye opener for me when I got into that, and then finally we sold it to someone else, and never came back to us. So I'm glad.
They paid it off.
Yeah.
Are you still getting monthly revenue off of that?
No, I wanted to be out of that business.
Yeah.
First couple of years I was into it. I just
Yeah.
kind of like realized, you know what? There's only so much I can do over here unless I expand and open other locations. But
Yeah.
it's not worth it because it's just so time consuming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a tough. The restaurant business is a tough business, and from what I understand, it's one of the highest turnover businesses too. Like restaurants turn over faster and more often than any other kind of business.
Absolutely, because of that reason alone,
Yeah,
everyone just goes in to thinking that yeah, I'm gonna open up a restaurant and everybody's gonna come and
yeah,
eat at my restaurant just because I'm who I am,
yeah.
and that's not the case.
No,
You know? But then I just thought about real estate at that time. The housing market here was so low. I'm like, it can't get any lower. It's just
right.
in Las Vegas, you can buy stuff for 40,000, 30,000, and I got into real estate from there and investing in real estate as well. And this is what I'm doing now. Just it wasn't an overnight plan. I knew that I had to just go to school, learn about it, get licensed. Which by the way, if you're investing in real estate, you don't have to be licensed.
Yeah,
Um,
but you are a licensed realtor, right?
I am,
Yeah,
but I didn't know that you didn't. In order for someone to invest in real estate, you don't have to be licensed. I
right,
basically learned most of the stuff myself,
right.
and so yeah, that was my transition into real estate, and been doing that ever since. About 4 years now. But coming close to 5. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So again you have had I know that you've had some tremendous success. You actually when I was out there, you took me over to one of your properties, and like it was amazing. You just sold it or just finished the flip, I think, or
Yeah,
something.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah. At that time, it was currently under contract, but I was trying to have you, stay here in Las Vegas and not make a move out there. So I said, hey, why don't you just bring Jill over here and buy this house?
Yeah, right. I know. So I mean, dude, and you and I have talked a lot, and I think that one of the things that I admire the most about you is number one, you have an unbelievable work ethic. Like it's unbelievable, and I think that when people how do I put this? People think that owning a business, investing in real estate, being a realtor, being a restaurant owner, being any kind of a business owner, people just think that it just is easy. That it's something that, like, you start, you do your first house flip, you buy even if you get a great deal of 30 grand, 40 grand, and you know, there's a ton of work that goes into that.
Sure. Yeah. No. This has a challenge of its own, but I guess maybe it's just something that I'd like to do more
Right.
than the restaurant business.
Yeah.
I'd like to do this more. Yeah, I mean, people only see the cool part of it after the property is done and it's looking beautiful, and they don't see the part where, well, first you got to buy the house, okay? So
Yeah.
there's that challenge. You got to, you got to find something that the numbers are right,
Right.
and from buying it, just going over there and seeing what could get done to improve the space of the property,
Right.
and then designing and putting the right colors together, and everything else, or just scheduling people, just to go out there and do things, whether it's cabinets or whatnot, because sometimes you got to do certain things before others, right?
Right. Right.
I mean, cabinets have to be installed before you go ahead and plan out for counter space,
Right.
So those are some of the things that that you run into the day-to-day basis when you're involved with that. But you're spot on. People only see the finished product and stuff, and
Right.
they don't realize all the other work that's being put into something that's completely done.
Right, right. So with, you, again, I know that you've been through a ton of different things. I know you've flipped a lot of houses in Vegas now, and you know some of the top people in the business. Like, you've gotten to know them pretty well, right?
Sure. Yeah. No. This is in this community. You have to network, with people. You have to know people.
Yeah.
It's very important. Now, when I first started, that was my whole goal, is to just put my name out there and talk to all of the agents. And I thought that was very important, because a lot of deals that I have on right now, about 4 or 5 of them, they came from agents. So to me, networking is very important.
Yeah.
And all the top producers here in Las Vegas, mainly my own broker, he does over 150 houses a year. So that's another reason why I decided to come over here, is I could learn from this guy,
Right.
And, but yeah, networking is huge.
So when you see a lot of and I know that I don't want to bring up, it's an event that happened when you were hanging out with Grant Cardone out there at Mandalay Bay, and I know that you were in the middle of all that craziness that happened.
Yeah.
And you told me it gave you a whole new perspective on what's important in life, right? So you've been through a lot of stuff, man. You've been through a lot of stuff, and one of the things, again, that makes you stand out is your unbelievable resilience. You just don't stop. You're not gonna stop.
No, that's for and everyone else who knows me here in the office as well, they see that same trait. But
Yeah.
no, it's something that, the thing is, I set up goals for myself, and what I've noticed as well too is, once I hit certain goals, there's other things that that you see past that.
Yeah.
And there's always something to just look forward to. But yeah, going back to that was a crazy event that day, and that shooting at Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
And now I'm a gun owner because of that too. I felt so like just being there without anything to protect my wife and everyone else around me. It was just it was a scary feeling,
Yeah.
But, luckily everything came out good, and we were safe. But
Yeah.
it was a crazy event,
Yeah, that was insane, man. So, when you see, and I know you know a lot of other entrepreneurs and business owners, right? What do you think? Even the guys that bought your restaurant and failed, what do you see as the biggest mistake that people make in business that prevents them from succeeding?
Well, I think one, it's work ethics. That's very important. And like we talked about earlier, people get into something that they don't understand, and then they just don't put enough efforts behind the work that needs to get done.
Yeah.
I mean,
to learn it.
Right. Well, yeah, to learn it once, and then once they learn it, they know what it takes to be able to be successful, and they're just not willing to put in the time and work, and efforts behind something that they believe in. So
why do you think that is? People, because it's almost a given that if you work hard enough and you study enough and learn your craft well enough, it's almost a given that eventually you're going to have success, right? Different levels of it, obviously, but the reason you were at Mandalay Bay the night of the Las Vegas shootings and hanging out with Grant Cardone is you were there to talk about investing in one of his real estate funds, right? So, you don't get to that level by being a chump that doesn't work, right?
Right. So, but yeah, absolutely. I think is what people, you got to have clarification in what you want to do, you know, and what you want to achieve, right? So, and people just they don't have that, and then as soon as it gets tough, they just quit,
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to let anything or my money go to waste, so I have a good understanding of what needs to get done, and I go after it. This is the same thing with real estate and everything else that that I've put my mind into. So right. So
and you discovered along the way, because of your work ethic, because you're constantly looking for a way to make a deal happen, you discovered some, and you don't have to go into the details, but I know you discovered some things about wholesaling stuff, and you've figured that out, man, and started popping that, and you've just got a lot of great things happening that you're killing just because your determination is incredible.
Yeah, well, once I got into real estate, there's so many ways that you can make money. It's unbelievable, and I wanted to, and it goes hand to hand with what I do. So I'm flipping. Why not just start doing that as well?
Right.
So right now, when I first got into real estate, I built a team here for the retail business side of it, right? I have some unbelievable guys that's out here, just taking care of that, and then now while I was doing that, I was flipping houses, right? And then now I'm trying to grow that side of the business, which is the wholesaling side of it, and got a few guys out here just doing that every day as well. So it goes just hand to hand with what I'm doing, and I'd like to take every opportunity out there that I can to just better what it is that I'm doing, right? So my game is this. So, but so far it's been. This is it's great. I'm surrounded by a great group of people.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't ask for anything more,
But I think if you, let's say that tomorrow there was no more real estate to invest in, no more houses to sell or buy or anything, and you had to find a whole different profession, regardless of what that profession is, there's a pretty good chance, I think, that you would be successful because of your work ethic and your push to success, right?
Right, and we always talk about this as well. I say, well, what's the next? What if something happens, And I always say, well, you know what? I'm not too proud to get a job and maintain this lifestyle that I have right now until I find something that I want to, sink my teeth in. So that I've always think about that, because as you see in real estate, just stuff happens, just markets crash. And I think that is a very important question because, a lot of people, they think right now we're in an increase and the real estate market is going bananas,
Right.
And it's always good to think about that because you don't want to just live a certain lifestyle and then when something happens, then you're completely done, So I'm cautious of that,
Right.
but at the same time, I'm going 100 miles an hour to do as much as I can while we are in this kind of market. Yeah.
Right. Right. And that's something else you and I have talked about is expansion ideas and growth ideas and stuff like that. And I know you're always thinking, how can I grow? How can I expand and get bigger?
Right. Yeah. No. As soon as I get comfortable with something, and it doesn't take long, I always, if I have extra time, I want this time to be put into something that's very productive,
Right. Right.
And keeps me away from trouble too. So.
Right. Like kidnapping women and stuff, right?
Right. You know what I mean? So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I want to every chance I get. If I get it, I don't want this time right now. I said I got about a good 10 years that I want to just go on at this kind of at this speed that I am right now. So
yeah,
and maybe later on just relax a little bit,
And I know that you get to have some fun. I mean, seems like every dang house in Vegas has a swimming pool, just about. It's crazy. So I know you, and you've got young children and, a beautiful family. So I know you get to have some fun, but you've earned that too. You work harder than probably anybody I know out in Vegas. So, and so you've earned it. There's
you have to do that to just kind of, keep a balance in your life. But, yeah, family, very important.
So let's say you had somebody, and I'm sure you've had people like come to you and say, Endri, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I can't pay my bills. I can't, I'm going to be evicted. I'm going to lose whatever. Like, I'm sure you've had people come to you and say and ask for advice, right? And if you haven't, eventually you will. So what would you say to somebody that's in that place where they're stuck and they don't know what to do?
Man, I always tell people there's a lot more that you can do than what you think you can do. So if you're hurting financially, well, guess what? You got to get a job, right?
Yeah.
Don't be too proud to get a job.
Right.
Get a job, get your finances in order, and then find something, whether it is something that you like or something that you dislike. Depends on what, if it's something that you dislike but it's making you a lot of money, then I say you ought to stick with that till you get your finances straight, and then either just jump from that field to another and do something that you love doing, or just stick with that, perfect it, and then see if there's a chance for you to be able to make a lot of money and get out of that rat race,
Right. So you're saying it all comes back to work, taking action.
It all comes back to work because the thing is, no one owes you anything, You got to go out there and make it happen for yourself,
Yeah.
That's the clarity that I had, because coming here and everyone else, I mean, nobody is happy here, okay? It's funny to me because when I was in the casino industry, right, people would complain about about the free food that the casino provided you with. And I'm like, dude, it's free food.
Wow.
Go eat and go back to work, And then when they took that away, they were crying about taking that away. So I'm like, when are you guys happy?
Right.
You know what I mean? First of all, you're complaining about the free food, that it wasn't good, and then now you're complaining about, that it's gone. So, it's just, it's just funny to me.
So are you saying that happiness is tied to gratitude or what you focus on?
Absolutely. And the thing is, people tend to focus on negatives more than positives, you know? And if you do that, you'll never be a happy camper.
Never. You're right.
I always tend to look at the positive side of everything that happens,
Yeah.
and just kind of look at both perspectives. So,
Have you ever lost money on a flip?
no.
Really?
Luckily, never lost money. I've always, I mean, not luck, but I've always made money on a flip. Yeah.
Good for you,
I mean,
dude.
the good thing about real estate is that you'll know everything prior to buying the house. What you can buy it for, what you can put in, and then what you can sell it.
Right.
This is why I like this. There's no secrets behind it unless something very traumatic happens, and then after that, we're not going to worry about real estate if something like that happens. You got to worry about surviving. So, but you know everything before you buy the property. So you go into it saying, hey, look, I can buy it for this much. I can put 20, 30,000 into it, and I can sell it, for this much. And then I'll make a certain percentage on the profit,
But there's people out there that probably go a little overboard and put more into it than they should and lose their rear ends, I would imagine.
Well, I've heard a lot of cases of that, and it's just people that's unexperienced, and that think they could do more than they can, and then end up losing money. And I've never lost any money in real estate.
That's awesome. John Davalito just commented. He said, "So I can't be lazy and rich."
Right. Yeah. Right.
No.
The people that's up there. You think any of these guys that you just named? Grant just sits around. You know what I mean?
No,
the guy's on the go. He's 60 years old, and he's on the go.
That's right.
Just doing things.
Yeah.
So. No, and that's you can't be rich and lazy.
No, no. I suppose it's happened maybe, but you can't stay rich and lazy.
And here's the thing: those people and the mindset that they have, that's why you see all these people that won the lottery. A year later they're broke.
Yep.
Because they didn't. First of all, they don't know what it takes to be able to have that kind of money, and then they don't have the mindset of, hey, listen, well, how do I make this money work for me? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the thing. That's another thing is when you start making money, okay, so you start off with the first problem, which is you don't have any money.
Right.
And then now you start making money. Well, the other problems when you start making money is you need to do something with that money. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. You got to now find an opportunity on where to put this money so you can earn the most amount of interest, right?
Yep. Put your money to work for you.
Exactly. Money can work a lot harder than you can. So,
yep.
So that's, and a lot of people, they say, yo, no, I want to save my money. I would just want to put it in a bank,
Yeah.
Actually, I had a buddy of mine just reach out, about a couple weeks ago, just seeing what we were doing. And all of a sudden, he's like, hey, listen, Andre, I got about $500,000. If you could put it to work for me, it'd be great. I see what you guys are doing. I like what you guys are doing. And, here it is. So I'm helping him out. And
wow.
And so that is the problem, though. Instead of just leaving your money in the bank and just earning the big zero, you can put it to work in real estate or just get with someone that knows what they're doing and
But dude, you can make 1 or 2% interest on your money in the bank.
1 or 2 or 0.1.
Right. I know. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. But so obviously, you were born into this world with an unbelievable amount of real estate knowledge. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. So you were in the restaurant business that wouldn't go away with a grease trap issue you started out with. You get through all that shit, and then you finally come to the point where it's like, okay, I keep hearing about all this real estate stuff, and you didn't just like go out on day one and start getting rich. You had to learn your business, right?
Right. No. So the way that I got in real estate is my parents lost a lot of money when the crash,
Yeah.
And I'm like, could this have been prevented? And the answer of that is yes. We've had an agent that represented my parents. that was not that didn't know about investing, or so they were guided to the wrong direction, so they had a couple houses around that time and they lost everything,
Wow.
and I was like, well, this could have been prevented had I studied it more, and that's what I did, afterwards. I studied real estate. I learned everything there is to know about it,
Yeah.
especially the field that I wanted to go in, which was investing, and I invested my own money. So that's how I started. I saved, and then the first purchase that I made was a house that I actually moved into, did the work, put a lot of sweat equity in it, and then turned around while I was doing the work over there. I bought another house that I financed, turned around and sold that, moved into the other house, and so on and so forth. But it was back then you could find, it was a little bit easier because you can find cheaper houses, and now everything is just finding a house in the $250,000 range is tougher these days. But it was a little tough because I had to make my family move every time.
Yeah.
So I moved 4 times or so.
Wow.
So everyone else around me, they were like, my parents were like, "You're crazy, stop doing this,"
Yeah.
No, I got to do this now because.
Yeah. Dude, you're willing to pay the price now so you can relax and be a little bit lazy later. And I don't mean lazy but somebody just asked about Bitcoin. What do you think about Bitcoin?
Man, Bitcoin was hot for a minute, but I invested a very small amount of money on Bitcoin, and but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that if I'm going to do something, I need to study it and I need to know exactly what I'm getting myself into.
Right.
And I love what I'm doing right now. I'm not willing to put this at hold to go study Bitcoin and then go invest on Bitcoin. To me, it's kind of a gamble. But there's people out there who can say no, that Bitcoin is very great, very good investment to put your money in. But I don't know enough on it, I haven't studied enough on it to be able to make that decision. And I'm lucky that I didn't put any money into it while everyone was talking about it.
Right.
Usually that's a good case, just like with real estate too, Everyone's like, oh yeah, the housing market, it's low, and then little by little, now they're like, oh, everyone's talking about real estate being expensive. Well,
right.
Next happens after that is it's a crash. Usually, that's what happened with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Real estate. So I was fortunate enough to see when I was here back in 2004. Housing market was going crazy, and then here comes 2008. Everything just plummeted down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, you've seen the ups and downs in business and in life. You've been through it all, man. You were transplanted here as an immigrant child at 13 years old, had to learn a whole new language. You had to learn how to socialize with kids that weren't very nice. Right?
Man, I am thankful for my parents making that move out here because, man, I don't see anywhere. I love it out here so much,
I know. And
there's so much opportunity. You can really, honestly do anything that you want, really.
In the United States, anywhere.
Yeah, no one can stop you. You can make as much money as you can. You can do anything, just really anything. You can go to school. You can do honestly
anything. But it takes. I did a post the other day on Facebook about persistence. You got to give it everything all the time for a long time. I mean, it takes a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Even with sports, when you see these guys going out there in basketball, you think that he just learned to dribble like that. He was born. No, he's doing. They wake up and they go straight to the gym,
right,
and practice.
Word on the street is that you're a professional boxer or something.
Right. No, I did that for a little bit, but not professionally,
But you did some competition, right? Didn't you?
I did that about 4 years. I never competed though. My brother and a good friend of mine did, but I did. I wish I'd done that as well, but I'm like, I don't know, because me, I'd like to, once I get into something, I'd like to do it 100% or I won't do it at all.
Yeah.
So I was looking at boxing from the, keeping in shape, just for the healthy side of it, and I was in great shape. Did that for 4 years.
Yeah.
I got really good at it as well. But, yeah, my brother competed, they won, a few, tournaments here and there, it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
It's another sport, you got to go out there and you got to keep at it. You got to just keep at it.
It's like business. It's like real estate. It's like anything. If you look at it as a sport, you got to train. You got to, when new stuff comes out, you got to work your butt off to learn the new stuff. You've got, I mean,
you know that very well.
Yeah, I sure do.
That's the place that you just went to and kind of thrived,
Yeah. Well, dude, I know that you know a lot about real estate and investing, and you've shared a lot with me that I didn't know, and I think you're an incredible dude, and you've been a great friend of mine. How can people follow you? What social media do you use the most?
I just I use Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not too involved on Twitter and everything else. I don't even have a Twitter account or all the other, just mainly Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's it. I got Instagram too. Yep. Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. So what any parting words of wisdom you would leave to my audience about what they should do if they're stuck and they need to have a breakthrough? What would you tell them?
Talk to my man Ken. Just be persistent in what you're doing, and just every time you run into something that's a challenge, just keep at it, and eventually you'll make it to where you want to be. My thing is always work hard. I was raised that way, and I've worked hard at every job that I've had, and then just kind of developed goals as I went. So that's what I would say, to just keep at it, work hard, and you'll get to where you want to be.
Love that, dude. Love it. Man, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's pretty early out there in Vegas. It's not hot yet, right?
Oh, dude, the weather right now is just perfect. It gets hot during the midday, but early in the morning, late in the afternoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blew me away living in Vegas. Like, there's never a cloud in the sky. There's times. There's times that I'm like right now is like April, May, June. It's just unbelievable weather, unbelievable. And in 90,
that grass so good, by the way.
Huh?
How do you keep that grass so good, by the way?
Here?
Yeah, I've seen your backyard, your whole house over there. It looks amazing.
Dude, they just mowed it a little. They mowed it this morning. They show up once a week and mow it. It's these two guys on these big tractors show up and mow it. It's beautiful. So, but yeah, man. So look, I appreciate you coming on the show and taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're a busy dude. Thank you. Really, I mean that.
It's an honor to just be on your show. But one more thing before we get done. My wife and I was just talking to her the other day, and I'm like, we went to Ken's house and we brought him a bottle of wine. I'm like, the guy hasn't drank in years, he's recovered. So yeah, I hope Jill took advantage of that bottle of wine. But
I think Jill drank it. I'm not sure. I don't drink, but that's all right, man.
I'm like, I can't believe that we brought him a bottle of wine.
Oh, dude, it's all good, man. I've had people send me wine. It's all good. Jill doesn't drink much at all, but she always enjoys free wine, so it's all good, man. It's all good. But anyway, so Endri, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Love you like a brother. You're awesome. If you guys aren't following Endri Laska, I can never say it right. But if you're not following him, make sure you send him a friend request or follow him on Facebook. Definitely don't look for him on Twitter. We just discovered he hates Twitter.
Get on that social. I got to get on my social media game, you know?
Yeah. Are you on Instagram?
Instagram, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you coming on. And thank you to everybody who shared this out, all of the likes, the loves, the hearts, the comments, everything. So thank you all. Endri, don't hang up. I'm going to end the Facebook Live. We will see you guys tomorrow with another great guest on the show. Thank you so much.